Welcome to Tales Unfolded, the home of gripping stories that reveal secrets, mysteries, and truths hidden in every corner of the world. Here, you'll find tales that will entreat, shock, and inspire you. Before we dive into today's story, make sure to subscribe to Tales Unfolded. Give this video a like and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an unforgettable story. Get ready to uncover the secrets that lurk behind every tale. And remember, every story has a lesson waiting for you. It is said that a poor tailor used to live in a small town. He was married and a father to 5 children, raising them with great difficulty. His salary as a tailor was barely enough for their daily bread. He always traveled on a long journey to the neighboring villages. He would buy some cheap fabrics so that he could sew and sell them, so that he could earn enough to feed his children. One day, while the tailor was on his way through the desert, after a tiring journey, a group of hungry wolves suddenly attacked him. The tailor looked around him, terrified and looking for refuge. He saw a large hole in the side of a nearby mountain. He hurried to it and entered it to protect himself from the wolves. But as the tailor entered the hole, his breath became quiet, and he heard strange sounds coming from the depth of the cave. He approached cautiously and walked slowly until he could see the source of the sound. When the jinn spoke to him, one of them said to the other, "Do you know about the treasure of our ancient king? It is a great treasure, guarded by our brothers, the jinn, but no human being can ever reach it." The other jinn replied, "Why can no one reach it?" The first replied, "Because no one can see or touch it except if he wears the magical garment of the king of the jinn and wears his ring in his hand. Because this ring is the key to these treasures, and no one knows the secret of this garment because it belonged to the king of the jinn who died a long time ago. A merchant found them in this cave by chance on his way back from a journey to him. He took them and guided them to the king of humans in his city, who did not know their true value." Then the jinn said, "That garment is now hanging on a wall in the palace of the king as an ornament. No one knows its value, and the king wears the ring on his finger, and no jinn can come near them because they are protected by a strong magical garments. No one can touch it." The first jinn remained silent for a while. Then he whispered, "There is another matter. The son of the king, an heir of his throne, is ill with a serious illness. He has been infected with a magical medicine that cannot move. The doctors have failed to cure him, and his only treatment is in the prison of the jinn, inside a glass that has been there for thousands of years. He is the strongest rebel in the jinn, and this rebel is the jinn himself, whom our master Solomon has imprisoned for thousands of years. Our master Solomon has imprisoned him because he disobeyed his orders. This jinn is the only one who can bring the cure, because the cure of this prince is in another magical glass, which is found in the bottom of the sea at a great depth. No one can reach it except him. But the glass that imprisons the jinn itself is found in the sea by the shore, next to the only white tree there." The tailor heard all this, and his mind began to work quickly. He thought of the treasure that could change his life and the lives of his children and make them one of the richest people. He decided to find that glass and use it to reach his desire. The tailor came out of the cave after the 2 jinn had left. He went to the market and bought a fishing net. Then he went to the beach, which the jinn had described. He searched until he found the white tree, and he stood in front of the sea. Then he cast his net. After several attempts, he felt a weight in the net, so he pulled it to find an old glass, which the nets were attached to. The tailor opened the glass carefully, and a thick smoke came out of it. It formed a giant jinn. He looked at the tailor, his eyes filled with fire, and he said with a voice like thunder, "You have one wish, and I will fulfill it for you. And after that, I will kill you." The tailor was afraid, and he said, "But I am the one who took you out of your prison." The jinn laughed, a terrible laugh, and said, "The king Solomon has imprisoned me in this glass for thousands of years, and since that day, I have hated the children of Adam. I swore to myself that whoever takes me out, I will fulfill one wish for him, and then I will kill him as a reward for it. The tailor thought quickly and said, I want you to bring me the medicine that will cure the sick king's son from the bottom of the sea. The jinn said, this medicine is found in a magical glass in the bottom of the sea, guarded by a tribe of jinn living in the depths, and no one can reach it except me. I will bring it to you, and this will be your last wish. And after you give the medicine to the king, I will come back to kill you as I promised you. The tailor said, with a beating heart, I agree. The jinn went away in a blink of an eye, and the tailor remained alone, thinking about how to get rid of this evil promise. And a clever idea quickly came to his mind, and it was only a few moments before the jinn came back with a small glass of pure gold. The jinn gave the medicine to the tailor, and then said, now, my mission is over. Prepare for death. The tailor said to him in a calm voice, I want to ask you one question before you kill me. The jinn said, ask? The tailor said, looking at the empty glass from which the jinn came out. How can you be a jinn with such power and such grandeur, and you were trapped in this small glass of pure gold? I don't believe that, the jinn said, in anger and arrogance. You fool! The jinn has powers that your human mind cannot understand. The tailor said, you are lying. It is impossible that you were inside this glass. The jinn shouted in his face, I was trapped for thousands of years inside it. I will show you, you stupid tailor. Then the jinn turned into a column of smoke and entered little by little into the small glass until everything became inside it. At lightning speed, the tailor caught the jinn and closed the glass tightly, and the jinn was trapped again. The jinn began to weep and shout from inside to get him out. The tailor said to him, you are an evil jinn, and he has trapped you. Our master, Solomon, has a reason and wisdom that he has never took the glass and threw it into the deepest place in the sea. The tailor took the golden glass and went quickly to the king's city. He entered and said with confidence, oh, king, I am carrying with me a cure for your son and the heir of your sick throne. The king looked at him with horror and said, he has been cursed, and all the doctors in the kingdom have failed in his treatment. Can you? Oh, simple tailor. The tailor said, yes, by God's will. The king said with confidence, if you cure my son, I will give you everything you ask for. But if you fail, I will order to behead you. The tailor said with a firm heart, I agree. The king ordered to let him in to the prince, who was lying on his bed and did not move. They closed the door of the golden glass and poured the magic liquid on the prince's body. It was only a few moments before the prince began to move his fingers, then his arms, then he got up from his bed, standing in his full health. The king was about to fly with joy, and he hugged the tailor and said to him, ask for whatever you want. I will give you whatever you want. The tailor looked at the wall and said, O king, all I want is a piece of fabric hanging on the wall, and this beautiful ring on your finger. The king laughed and said, do you only want this? You have what you want, and you will get it. And he rewarded him with a lot of gold and coins. The tailor took his treasures and returned to his house, and his heart was dancing with joy with what he would bring to his children from a new life. The tailor returned to his small house, and the beat of his heart opened the door, and he found his wife and his 5 children starving and tired. When they saw their father, they ran to him, but they stopped in shock when he took out the gold and coins that the king had given him. The wife cried with joy, and the tailor gave the gold to the king. Go and buy for us some delicious food and drink. The time of poverty has ended, and there is no return by God's will. After they ate and drank and praised God, the tailor sat behind the old and his suffering. He imposed on her a magical piece of cloth that shone like a ray of starlight, and he began with 2 skillful hands to turn it into a robe fitting a king. And what could stop him from making it until the piece of cloth turned into a robe that was incomparable in its beauty in existence? The seamstress put on the magnificent robe and placed the ring on his finger. He closed his eyes and placed his hand on the ring and said with a voice that filled him with certainty, I want to go to the treasures of the king of the jinn. At a glance, the seamstress found himself in a place that no human mind could have imagined. It was a huge hall, and there sat a huge guard of the jinn. Their bodies were like mountains, and their eyes were like a crow's nest. The seamstress walked between them in steady steps, and his heart pounded with fear. But none of them could see him or touch him badly, for the seamstress and the ring were blocking his sight. He continued to walk until he reached a huge door made of a material that was not like the metal of the earth. In front of the door stood a monstrous jinn that was not like the guards of others. It seemed to him that he was strong and wise, with a long white beard and calm features, as if he were the sheikh of the jinn and their wise man. The jinn looked directly at the seamstress as if he could see his soul without a body, and he said with a deep voice, "Oh, seamstress, behind the store is a treasure that you cannot imagine. And if God and your faith had not succeeded in bringing you here, you would have passed the test of the evil seaman with your intelligence. And here you are before the last test, the test of wealth and wealth." The wise jinn remained silent for a moment. Then he continued, "But know that your death is a certain matter. So praise God Allah for his success. And always remember that wealth can make you a righteous man whom God pleases. And it can make you an unjust tyrant. And it can make you a person who forgets the blessings of God. And a person who loves this world and is unaware of his grace for you. So fear God, for blessings last with praise and gratitude, and go away with disobedience and injustice." The seamstress heard the wise jinn's words. He raised his hands to the sky and said in a sincere voice, "Oh Allah, make me of your righteous servants, the grateful, the forgiving, the mindful of your favors. Oh, my Lord, grant me to thank you for your grace, which you have favored me and my parents, and to do a good deed which you will be pleased with, and admit me in your mercy among your righteous servants." Then the tailor came forward and placed the seal on the place of the lock in the large door. Then he lit the seal and the door with a bright heavenly light, and the door was slowly opened without a sound. The tailor could not believe what he saw in front of him. There were treasures beyond all imagination, mountains of gold, rivers of jewels, and diamonds and rubies shining in the colors of the sun. The tailor prostrated on the ground, thanking Allah and weeping. Then he took from the treasure what he could carry and returned to his house in a blink of an eye. Soon, the tailor's condition changed, and he built a palace like no other, and he became the richest man in his time. But he did not forget a day of poverty, and he did not neglect the will of the wise jinn. So he opened the doors of his palace to the poor, and he helped the needy, and he treated the sick at his expense, and he set up tables to feed all people every day. And he gave the needy money without account. The tailor and his children lived a happy and comfortable life. And he always gathered his children and told them his story and reminded them of the wise words of the jinn, which he put in front of his eyes. So the world was not overwhelmed one day, and it was not overwhelmed. He lived a happy and comfortable life until certainty came to him, and he was one of God's righteous servants. And so, oh, my friends, the curtain is set on the story of the tailor, who began as a poor man and ended up as a prince by his gift and wisdom. But the wisdom that you leave behind, the story in our hearts, never ends. So what do we benefit from this story? And what should we do? First, we learned that faith in God and trust in Him must be compared to intelligence, effort, and work. The tailor did not wait for the curtain to be set, but used his mind to overcome the tailor, and he tried himself to reach the king. Second, we learned that the most difficult test a person can go through is not poverty, but wealth. Many are patient in their desire to live, but few are successful in the test of wealth and power. Third, we learned the most important lesson that the wise jinn has taught us. Blessings last with gratitude and giving, and leave behind greed and tyranny. And my advice to you today, my followers, the channel of stories and wise stories, always remember that each one of you has a treasure of his own. This treasure may be knowledge, or talent, or wealth, or even a good heart, and the ability to overcome adversity. So look for your treasure and use it for good. And be like the tailor in his wisdom and his giving, not in his initial poverty. And now, it is your turn to share your wisdom. Tell us in the comments, what is the greatest lesson or wisdom you have learned from today's story? As we have always promised to encourage the creative and thinkers in our family, the best comment, and the comment that will get the most likes, we will show it and confirm it at the beginning of the special video with the next story, God willing. And now, here are the best comments you shared with us on the previous video. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the town's darkest secret. We hope you were captivated by the mystery and the shocking revelations. Don't forget to subscribe to Taylee's Unfolded, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next gripping story. Leave a comment below and tell us what shocked you the most, or what you think the town might still be hiding. Your thoughts could be featured in our next video. Stay tuned for the next story. And until then, keep exploring the mysteries that surround us.